Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. That's what I tell my older clients, look, I'm not asking you to put all your money into Bitcoin. I'm just saying that not having any Bitcoin is crazy because it has a lot more inequality than anything else in the world right now. This is the best thing I've ever seen. You have to accept that what Sailor said is true, even at this price. Laura, it will keep going up. So if you bought it for $60, it will go up to $600 and then to $6 million, both of which I think will happen. You will be very happy that you got it at 60 over a number of years. Okay, but wait a little while longer. Spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds in Hong Kong have reached a big milestone. They now have more than 2 billion Hong Kong dollars in assets under control, which is about $256 million. Even with this success, their US rivals have attracted a lot more money and investors. In Hong Kong, the 3-spot Bitcoin ETF saw a net inflow of 247 Bitcoin last week. This means that they now hold over 4,450 Bitcoin. In light of these changes in the ETF market, well-known Bitcoin fan Lawrence Lepard recently gave investment tips in an interview. Lepard pointed out that older investors might need to be more careful, while younger investors might be able to handle Bitcoin's fluctuations better. He also said that he thinks Bitcoin will grow and be a better investment over the long run than gold, and asked the government to stop being careless. Lepard says that how willing you are to take risks when buying in Bitcoin is closely related to your age. Older investors may be more cautious because they have less time to invest, while younger investors can handle market changes better because they have more time to spend. Lepard did say that older investors should still think about adding some Bitcoin to their investments as a way to diversify, but they should be careful. Don't miss the bull run in 2025. Learn as much as you can before everyone else. We've put together the best step-by-step crypto G guide to help you through this bull run. Find out the secrets of crypto and start investing smarter right away. Now click on the link below to get your special copy for a little less than $10. When you're 30, you know you have a long way to go and can make a lot of money. So it doesn't matter if this thing goes up and down a bit, right? Putting all your money into something at age 60 or 70 and seeing it lose 60% isn't a good idea. Of course, that being said, I think older people are right to be a little wary, but that doesn't mean they hold no value. I'm also glad you were able to convince your dad to do it because it is the best investment he could have made. From my point of view, it will continue to be the best performing stock. So you should be fine if you can make it through the roller coaster, which, as we all know, doesn't really last more than 4 years. Even if you're dying, you shouldn't keep all of your money in Bitcoin. You might need it or your children might need it in a year or two. That's it. You need to have one, it's not a 0 or a 1. So yeah, it's just a matter. I mean, when I talk to my older clients, I tell them, look, I'm not telling you to put all your money into Bitcoin. I'm just saying that not having any Bitcoin is crazy because it has a lot more inequality than anything else in the world right now. I've never seen anything this good before. Funny thing is, even at this price, I still see a lot of people looking at it and they're making the mistake of setting an older price. I've already spilt a lot of gold on people. Well, geez, yeah, I get it for you, they say. You bought it for 5,000 and now it's worth 60,000. How come I have to pay that much? I told them, yeah, but you don't get it when I paid $5,000 for it. I looked over at Max Kaiser who paid $2,000. Do you know? You just have to get used to the idea that what the skipper said is true. Laura, it will keep going up. So, if you bought it for $60, it will go up to $600 and then it will go up to $6 million. I think both of those things will happen over a number of years. You'll be glad you bought it at $60 then, but you have to be patient, right? And those of us who are in it know that it was studied, etc. Saying that Bitcoin is the only thing that I think is a warning to people who heard this is more than enough. I think it's up to all of us Bitcoin supporters. I am one of them. You're one of them. We all are. We believe in it to fully explain to a buyer what they're buying and what it can do. Because the only time I've seen someone lose money on it was when they got too excited about it at or near a peak out of fear of missing out. It dropped a lot. They realized they were wrong and they sold it at the bottom, I mean, they did some things right. They bought some, but they did something else wrong. They didn't bring down the dollar cost average. They instead let the price make them think they weren't wrong. and they bought it. We all know that anyone who has been in it for 4 years is ahead if they just hung on. As for the cost base, I think that will stay the same, but for older people who don't like taking risks, that should be a more risky part of their wealth. If it drops by 60%, it won't change how they live or scare them. It could be 10% or 20% of your wealth if you're 70 or 80 years old. I don't know what that means. That's just a guess too. I mean, I believe everyone is unique. Some people I know who are 70 years old have all of their money in it because they fully understand it and believe in it for the long run. This means you need to know what you're getting. But as someone who has worked in investments for more than 40 years, I can tell you that the first two things you should do with an investment are, what did it do before? Because that's likely to happen again in some way in the future. Then what is the performance? And in the past, it has been very unstable with some big drops. When you buy it, you think to yourself, if this goes down 60%, I'm going to want to kill myself. That's too much for you to buy. But if you buy it and tell yourself, I know it will be worth a lot more in 10 years, then you're right. I don't care if it drops 50%. That's the right amount to get. This is great. It's on sale. And now I'm going to buy more. If it does go down 50%, like you, I, and other people have done, you think you're being too hard. Lawrence Lepard says that the fact that gold has been around for 5,000 years and is known all over the world gives it a strong network effect and makes it a good way to store value. In Turkey, he said younger people tend to buy Bitcoin while older people prefer gold. This is because gold is less volatile than Bitcoin. Lepard said that governments and central banks were acting carelessly, which was making a national debt bubble that would eventually pop. He said that hyper-Bitcoinization might happen at some point, maybe in the next 10 years, along with a lot of inflation and more money printing. Lepard thinks Bitcoin is a better investment than gold, even though it changes value more often. He thinks Bitcoin's value will change dramatically in the next 3 to 6 months. He supports making Bitcoin, silver, and gold legal, and he also wants a sound money standard to be set up. Let's listen to the conversation again to get more ideas from Lawrence Lepard. 8 billion people in the world know what gold is. For 5,000 years, they've known its money. In that way, it has a huge network effect. Yes, there has been a lot of inflation in Turkey. A few people I know who live or have been there have told me that the young people buy Bitcoin and the old people buy gold. And it all makes sense. As for gold, it can be risky too, but gold volatility is usually about 20% lower than it is in other markets, not 50, 60, or 70%. In both of these assets, that volatility usually goes away pretty fast because they aren't being printed. That's really the main point here. The other side of this coin shows why these things will work so well. In other words, what we're saying wouldn't be as important if governments and central banks around the world behaved responsibly. But I think that anyone who reads the news and looks into the facts can only come to the conclusion that governments and central banks are acting in a very careless way, and that carelessness is likely to get worse over time. That's why I think that Bitcoin will become very popular very quickly. Tomorrow is not that day. That will be years from now.